Remember when you used to draft a tackle in the top 5, and it was a sure thing that you were solidifying the position of the franchise for the next decade? It's not like that anymore. It's insane. Kyle Gaffner is here. I'm Adrian Fedke. We're here to talk about the big beef up front, the offensive line. It's not a sexy position, not something that people like to talk about, but it's one of the most important, units on your entire team.
Agree. I think it's the most important position or group effort altogether on the football field. This will make or break a team, Adrian. If you don't have a great line up front, doesn't matter you got Tom Brady or Peyton Manning back there, you're not going to be able to do too much of anything. And there's, I'd say, it's a decent class, not like priors past, but we've got a couple good guys that I think are going to be stellar Pro Bowlers and one All-Pro that's going to be the staple for the next 12 to 15 years.
Yeah, we shall see. And there's one prospect that's kind of going down the list a little bit, and we'll talk about him shortly. But just to give you a little, reflection of what I'm talking about, of the 17 offensive tackles picked in the top 10 since 2005, before, you had Orlando Pace, Jonathan Ogden, these guys were sure things. But here, since those guys since 2005, only three have been named first team All-Pro, and that's Joe Thomas, Tyron Smith, and Jake Long. So that's it.
Wow. And Jake Long, you could say, yeah, he was pretty good, but he's been bitten by the injury bug. But, yeah, you look at Eric Fisher has been a huge bust. Luke Joeckel hasn't really been anything special. He was a top 3 pick. It's a shame, man, because I think left tackle is the most important position out of all the linemen anyway to stop those edge rushers.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just got to my next point. Talked about Eric Fisher, talked about Luke Joeckel. That's insane. Those guys, not panning out at all because they thought Joeckel was going to be a stud. Mm-hmm. And the one that actually panned out was the last of the 3 drafted, and that was Lane Johnson. And some other examples. Just recently you got Greg Robinson, 2nd overall in 2014. He's been kind of bad.
Yeah,
real bad.
He's been struggling a lot.
And even if you look at guard, Jonathan Cooper just got traded to the Patriots. He hasn't really exactly lived up to the billing either.
No, he's barely played, but you're right. He got benched for, I think, a free agent. That guy wasn't even drafted, and that's why the Cardinals got rid of him because he was expendable. At number 7 overall, God, the guy can barely stay on the field, but I don't think he's going to live up to the potential either. And you invest these high draft picks, you expect, if you're a top 10 draft pick, you expect these guys to be impact players right away.
Yeah.
And you're basically wasting draft picks at this point. And it's something, like you said, it's not a sexy position, but it's a very important position all throughout the line to protect your quarterback and to get the run game going.
Now, with all that being said, we talked about Eric Fisher. We talked about Luke Joeckel. We talked about Greg Robinson. Well, the number 1 tackle in this class is, I think, better than all of those guys. And I think he's going to live up to the hype. And that is Laremy Tunsil of Ole Miss. We both have him at number 1. I would assume so. The consensus number 1 out of pretty much every draft publication there is. So, there was a time where he and Ronnie Stanley were a little, not that Stanley was catching up to him, but there was some debate back and forth, but not really anymore. Tunsil has really solidified himself at that top spot.
He's ran away with it, actually. And what I've seen of this guy's tape, I think he's going to be a sure thing, a staple on that defensive line, a guy that you can put there at left tackle, day 1 starter, perennial Pro Bowler. He's going to protect Marcus Mariota. I think he's a sure number 1 pick overall. There's no thinking about it, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's going to be the top pick of the draft. So I'm pretty sure of it, unless the Titans do trade that number 1 pick, which is a possibility. It's been reported that there's a 50-50 chance that they trade out of that top spot. In swoops in possibly the Eagles. Who knows? And who knows? Carson Wentz could be wearing Eagles green. I don't think a lot of people will be happy with that. But then again, the last time we booed someone in the first round, it was Donovan McNabb, and he turned out to be pretty damn good.
So, it worked out for them.
Yeah, it worked out pretty fine. So there you go. But, just to lament on Tunsil a little bit further. watching him at the combine, I mean, just this mammoth man at like 315 pounds, and he's just making mincemeat of these drills. And you just compare him to the other guys, and it's not even close. I mean, it was insane to see a guy at that size moving the way he does. Wow. And, we just talked about it. I think he's going to be one of the best pass protectors in this league. He matches up very, very well with speed rushers. Watching him on tape, he does get some movement in the run game as well, although I think he can improve in that area. But, I mean, it's the athleticism for a guy that size. Unbelievable.
It's incredible. I mean, he's like, I like to call big guys like that got ballerina feet. I mean, there is just an easy stride. He's not stumbling at all when he's moving around. Like you said, he made mincemeat of those drills. He looked incredible. At that size, 6'5", 315 pounds. Even though he wasn't in the three-point stance a lot, he was in the two-point stance in the run game, which he's a big mammoth. He's a little bit of a road grader, but I think he's going to be able to stand up fine and pass protect. I mean, he's nimble. He's quick. He's got the power. I mean, like I said, if I was the Titans, I wouldn't trade that. I would take him number 1 overall.
No problem. Yeah, and a reason why they might have traded down, why they might trade it down is in case they might like Ronnie Stanley. But here's the thing about Ronnie Stanley. I'm watching him at the combine, and I'm like, this guy is second best tackle?
And almost compared to Laremy Tunsil for number 1 tackle in the prospect.
Yeah, like this guy I'm watching right now, like this freaking guy, like this goof, like I don't know, like I'm watching him out there, and he's just looking a little clumsy to me. He's not looking like this athlete that they build him up to me. So Tunsil's just doing circles around him. Like, I don't know. I didn't like what I saw at the combine. Then the more and more tape I watch of him, the less and less I've liked him.
Yeah, it looks like he doesn't try half the time when he's out there. It looks like he doesn't really put in a lot of effort a lot of time. He does stumble a little bit. I mean, and that's supposed to be one of his strengths too, is his quickness and nimbleness. And I really didn't see it either. But I think a big reason why he's dropping too is his there was a report that, well, you look at his tape too. He struggles a lot of the time with bull rushers. He's getting pushed around. And the effort, I just don't see it all the time. There's no consistency. So I would draw a little red flags, especially if you're going to be a top 5 pick. No, that's going to stray teams away.
Yeah, I mean, he's still good enough that we still kept him at number 2.
Yeah.
But he's clearly not what we thought. Well, what I thought he was like a month ago. So he's really dropped on my board. And, I don't even know if he's top 10 guy anymore. It's insane. I mean, definitely probably not top 5. So
definitely not. I don't think so. He is falling, Adrian. I mean, maybe the Giants take him at 10, but I think he might even fall into the teens even.
Yeah, definitely. And you brought up his passion and what did you describe that? Not trying out there, basically, right? And that's what scouts have said, that they really question his passion for the game. And
yep.
That is a concern, man. I mean, if you're not passionate, why the hell are you playing? So, yeah. And especially for a tackle, you got to have that mean streak.
Yeah.
And if you're not passionate about what you're doing, you're gonna get your head cut off.
Yeah. Why are you even gonna be out there? Why am I gonna have you out there? You're gonna take down my franchise quarterback, let him get hurt, and then there goes the season? Like, no. This is the biggest interview of your life, and you're lackadaisical like that? Come on, man. Throw some passion. You should be on top of your game nonstop all the time. This is what you've worked your whole life for.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't get it. I don't understand it with some of these prospects. I mean, it's confusing. And so we do have to say he was close with Laremy Tunsil, but it is a weak tackle class this year. Usually it's strong. For the past couple of years, it's been one of the strong points of the draft. It's a pretty weak one this year.
Yeah. Although Tunsil's he's a stud. We both agree there. Now, number 3, I guess I'll go first at number 3. It might surprise. I don't know. I got Jason Spriggs of Indiana.
Wow.
I really like him a lot. He's the guy that's really shot up the boards from showing the Senior Bowl and the Combine, but that's not really why I have him at number 3. I turned on the Ohio State tape and watching him go up against Joey Bosa really held his own against him. Really impressed by it. This guy's got, gigantic long arms, very athletic, and I love, you know what, you talk about the mean streak. This guy has it. The way he finishes his blocks and really tough out there. I like him a lot, so he's my number 3.
Okay, I like Jason Spriggs a lot as a work in progress. I have.
He's a former tight end, I believe, who's like beefed up to play tackle. He's kind of like a Lane Johnson type.
Oh, okay, and Jason Peters then too, tight end. So it can happen. I've got Jack Conklin at number 3. I don't think he'll work as a left tackle in the league. I think he could either kick into guard, much like Brandon Schrafe did last year, or put him over at right tackle. He's a big, nasty road grader. He's great in the run game, but he struggles with pass protection, especially on one-on-ones. So, when you're going against athletes like that in the NFL, he's going to be struggling, and you're going to have to chip out a lot. But I like Jack Conklin a lot. I'd still kick him over to right tackle for a prospect. But I like him a lot. He's going to be a nasty. He'll be a Pro Bowler, in and out.
Yeah. Okay. That's my number 4. So I got Conklin there. You basically kind of said what I was going to say. So, because I don't think he can play left tackle. I don't think he's a left tackle. So he's going to have to play right tackle in the NFL if he wants to stay at tackle. Yeah, that's my opinion. But, like you said, road grader in the run game, that's the thing that you notice with him. And when I think about him, I don't think he's going to be like a great player, but I don't think he's going to bust. So he's a guy that I think will be okay. There's guys that have more potential than him.
Mm-hmm.
If you want like a safe bet sort of thing, you take Conklin, you plug him in at right tackle. You could plug him in at guard, like you said. So that's kind of how I view Jake Conklin.
Conklin, I agree. Who'd you have at number 5?
Oh, well, we got to get your number 4.
Oh, that's right. We just skipped over that. I have at Decker, actually. And talking about a safe pick, that's what I thought Taylor Decker was going to be. He played in a great system there. You could kick him at right tackle, left tackle. He's good in the run game. He's good in the pass game. He's not great, but he'd be able to get by. And I think he's going to be a safe pick.
Yeah, that's my number 5. That's my guy. Number 5, Taylor Decker. Really good on the move. Really good playing in space, taking good angles on the second level. So that's kind of how I view him. And, who's the guy that's going to round out your top 5?
I love this prospect. He's going to need a little bit of work, I think, but Jermaine Afidi, I think you pronounce his name?
Texas A&M kid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huge guy, freakishly athletic, long arms, 36-inch long arms. Nimble feet, big guy. He's great in the run game, great in the pass game. I think he could be a left tackle. He just needs a little work on his bending his knees. He gets caught a lot. Guys get under him, push him back a lot. He needs a little work on the one-on-one. Speed guys kind of get him, but you can work on his technique a little bit. But I think he could be a staple of any team if they draft him, take a chance on him.
Okay. All right. I like it. I mean, he'd probably be like my number 6, so he's like right there. So our lists are actually fairly similar, except for Spriggs, and that's fine. It was good.
He was my work in progress guy, like a guy that could come out of nowhere that was working his way up the board. Spriggs, he was basically like my number 6 guy.
Yeah. I like Spriggs a lot. Now, any other like sleeper kind of tackle candidates you got on your mind?
I do. LaRaven
Clark.
LaRaven Clark.
Oh, you already took one of my guys.
Yeah, I like him. Another big, nasty, freakishly athletic guy. I think he's almost got 37-inch arms. A little work in progress in the one-on-ones again. Seems like we've been saying a lot about these tackles, but he got beat by Emmanuel Ogba a lot this year. But a guy I like that if you work, he might be a little bit of a project, but I'd take a flyer on him as well.
Yeah. So I'll throw 2 names at you. Now, I haven't necessarily seen a lot of tape on these guys, but just 2 guys that really impressed me on the combine that are going to be late round picks. And I'm talking the 2 names I got for you: Willie Beavers of Western Michigan and Fawn Cooper of Ole Miss. Cooper's the guy I put a star around because this guy's supposed to be like this 6th, 7th round pick, and I'm seeing him out there on the drills and just really fluid athlete, really balanced, and they have this like mirror drill where that they call the player opposing the tackle, they call him the rabbit, and they tell the rabbit to kind of move
which way, and he moves from side to side. I like that drill.
Yeah, and I was just really impressed by Cooper in this drill, and seeing this guy move around the field, just really fluid, and he along with Tunsil and Spriggs, I thought were like the most fluid athletes out there.
Agreed. Yeah, just like I don't know anything about that guy, but I agree. I was going to tell you on that mirror drill, Tunsil didn't stumble one bit, man. It looked like he could have done it in his sleep. I mean, just amazing.
Tunsil, man, he made everything look so easy out there. Like just unbelievable watching him, man.
It's in awe. You literally just drop. Like, how can a guy this size, his size, be doing this? It's just incredible. I think he's like a Tyron Smith, honestly. The best prospect since Tyron Smith to come out at left tackle.
Yeah, that's a good comparison there. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. All right, so we still got guards and centers to go. Now we're not going to spend as much time on these guys than the tackles, but we were talking pre-show, and I'm thinking I'm going to be smart, like with my number one guard, and it turns out you got the same goddamn guy. So I guess we're both smart. And
great minds think alike, brother.
There you go. Because I think a lot of people might have like Cody Whitehair or the other popular name is Vidal Alexander of LSU.
Yeah.
But we both like Joshua Garnett of Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
And you want me to talk about him, or you want to?
Go ahead.
All right. Just real quick.
Fire away.
Well, from an Eagles perspective. All right, I'll give the Eagles perspective, and then you can give the scouting report. I'll do that.
Okay.
So, from Eagles perspective, because this is a guy I kind of want at guard, and I think he's perfect for what the Eagles are going to like to do in running the football. He's a guy that pulls really well. So that power smash style, slow and methodical, I think he could be a fit. But the problem is you're going to have to get in the second round. So if they don't take Wentz, if they don't try and trade up to number one, I want to see them try and get in the second round so they can take Garnett, because I think he's a perfect fit for what they like to do. So for the scouting report, let's go to Kyle.
You kind of touched on what I was going to say, actually. He played really well at Stanford. He pulls well from both sides. Like you said, he's going to be able to open holes. He can take the right angle. And the Eagles do have a need at guard. And I do like what he did in the run game. Pass game, he could use some work, but most guards do when they're coming out of the college anyway. But I like the way he can open up holes a lot. I completely agree with you right there, man. 100%.
I'm trying to remember which game I watched, and I think it was like him on a cornerback on the second level. But like the way he took this cornerback and just powered him backwards with ease, like rode him for like 15 yards. Just it was kind of funny because like the quarterback's like off his feet. It's like something you'd see in like a movie. And yeah, it was pretty funny watching that. So
like in that movie about what's his face? He did that in that, I can't think of his name. The one with Sandra Bullock. I can't think of his name.
Michael Lord. Michael Lord. Yeah.
He takes that dude and he picks him up and he carries him the entire way and throws him into the end zone. I mean, at least he sticks with the play.
That's pretty much what it was a little bit. It was funny. So there you go. So number 2 on my list, Cody Whitehair of Kansas State.
Me too.
Yeah. He might also play tackle in the NFL. Really good at mirroring rushers. Stays very balanced. He was actually another guy that did really good in that rabbit mirror drill.
Mm-hmm.
So from what I remember, anchors really well against bull rushers. So I think he's a solid guy to get. He might go late first round.
I think he might too. I don't think it. In my opinion, I don't think he's going to stay at the tackle because he's got really short arms. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be difficult for him to push some guys back and even feed them off. But he was good at the mirror drill. But I have him kicking into guard at the next level. So he might even fall maybe to the third round where the Eagles could even maybe get him. Okay. I like him in an Eagles uniform too. But he can pull real well. What else do I got on my great movement skills? What else was I gonna say? He's really good in transition as well. So I have him as number 2 too. Who'd you have at number 3?
Number 3, I got Joe Dahl of Washington State. This might be a little surprising. I don't know.
Yeah, that's when we changed up.
You played left tackle for the Cougars the last 2 years. I think he's too small to play there in the NFL. So, so he's gonna, too small and like height wise. And I think he's a guy that's really good in space, hitting a target on the move. Now the problem is he played for Washington State, and that's obviously Mike Leach, and throw the ball a ton. So, from what I've seen in the limited amount of running plays that they run, he's pretty good. But it is a little concern. But I like Dahl. He's probably not in the top 5 of most people's lists. I don't know, but I like him.
I haven't watched too much tape. I'll have to check him out. And I like guys like success stories that come out of little or smaller schools like that too. I got Sebastian Traola. I love this guy. This is a big, nasty dude. He reminds me of Gabe from the Oakland Raiders that came out a couple years ago out of the same school. They just produce big, nasty runners. And they, as you know, they run a lot at that school. But he's a big, nasty road grader. He'll need some work in the pass protection. Got beat one-on-ones, but he reminds me of a Brandon Linder, actually, out of Miami last year.
Okay.
If you want to get a big, nasty guy, I would take him. That'll work.
It's funny because I actually didn't have him in the top 5, but he was on my list of, like, sleepers.
Mm-hmm.
So for you to have him at number 3 is pretty bold. Even though I think I've seen other people have him in the top 5 as well. The guy you're thinking of is Gabe Jackson.
Yeah, Gabe Jackson. That's what it was. I couldn't think of his name. Damn.
I was like, you said Gabe. I'm like, Gabe Karimi? No, he doesn't play for them. It's Gabe Jackson.
Gabe Jackson. Yes, his name slipped my mind. Gabe Jackson. I liked him coming out a couple years ago, and he reminds me a lot of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but going back to Chitola, man, I guess since he's my sleeper guy, I'll talk about him now. Like you said, very powerful guy, very strong. And Arkansas, Brett Bielema, they like to run the ball, so obviously he's really good in the run game. And if you're a guy that needs a run, road grader at guard on your offensive line, this is the guy you want to get. So there's that. All right, now I'll put you on the spot for number 4. Who you got? I
got Vidal Alexander actually at number 4.
Yeah, I got the same.
Tough run blocker, feet stumble a little bit when he's pulling from left to right. Could use some work on that. Actually, I would like to see him slim down a little bit. He got a little overweight to slow him down, so his metabolism was a bit, he doesn't stay out there for all too often, so you'd have to trade him out, kind of like Cardinals did with Upati a couple years or this year. But I like Vidal. Who do you have at number 4?
Yeah, it's my number 4 guy as well. He's actually higher than what we have him. A lot of other people think he's the top guy, for instance, which I think's a little crazy. Because I don't think he's that
impressive.
Yeah, he's not like a really good athlete or anything. I mean, he's 6'5", 335. So like you said, he does have to lose some weight. I think he's pretty inconsistent on the second level. So yeah, I mean, I'm not really as high on him as a lot of other people are.
That's why I had him drop so low.
Yeah. Yeah, so there you go. So great minds think alike again. I mean, our rankings are looking pretty similar. So number 5, I have Arizona State's Christian Westerman. That's my guy.
Again.
Huh?
Like same thing. I got Westerman too.
Oh, man, really good athlete. Pulls, traps well. Really good in space. Yeah, I like him.
That's exactly. You kind of took my words out of my mouth. I like him a lot. Everything you just said. Road grader, he's really good in space, gets up to the second level, takes out, corners and linebackers. So that was my number 5. Who was, did you have any guys that you would like to call sleepers?
Well, I had Chitola. That was my guy.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm trying to think off the top. It's hard thinking off the top of my head now, because I wrote down the bullet points. Who else is out there?
I'm trying to think.
I can't think off the top of my head. Yeah, I got nothing.
I didn't even have anybody. That's how unimpressed I was with the centers and guards this year.
Yeah, we'll get to the centers right now. I think our consensus number one is Ryan Kelly of Alabama. I think he's going to be really good center in this league. Reminds me a little bit of Nick Mangold, a little bit.
Yeah.
Good size. He's tough, athletic, reliable. I think he's pretty good. And, you can just watching him out there, because I've watched a lot of Alabama games. A lot of people watch Alabama over the last couple of years. And
how can you not?
You can just tell he has that kind of leadership quality to him.
Yeah, he does. He's going to be a day one starter, somebody you can plug in right away. And it's just going to be consistent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And who'd you have at your number 2? I had Nick Martin.
Yeah, I got the same. Nick Martin.
Another guy I think that can be a number 1 or for one-day starter. He's going to go in there, plug in, be a leadership type guy, can get to the second level. It's good in the run blocking, and he's good in pass protection too.
Yeah, and obviously the brother of Dallas's Zach Barton. So he has that going for him. He's got the
bloodlines.
Yeah, he's got the genes. So there you go. All right, number 3, I got Graham Glasgow, 6'6", 306. He has the size to play anywhere on the line, really. Pretty athletic for a guy his size, very physical, finishes. This guy's a mean man.
Another nasty guy that you can have a line. I had him at number 4. I had Max Turok actually at number 3.
Yeah, that's my number 4, so we just switched there.
So we just switched. I think that guy is one of the most versatile centers out there. I think he could either play guard or center. You can plug him in anywhere, much like Zach Barton did when he was coming out of Notre Dame. So, yeah, who'd you have at number 5?
And then number 5 is Jack Allen. So I think we both have the same there because I remember you talking about Jack Allen before the show.
Yeah, I did like Michigan State. He seemed pretty consistent.
Yeah, just pretty. I highlighted the word consistent.
Yes, I mean he's Mr. Reliable and Mr. Consistent. I mean,
it's just solid.
Yeah, I mean solid guy. You can do everything. Yeah. Yeah.
There it is. All right, so our offensive line rankings pretty similar. We're about to do some edge rushers, so stay tuned. We're going to do that in a couple minutes. But for right now, that's our offensive line, tackle, guard, center rankings. This might not be our most popular, video in terms of viewership, but you should watch it because it's important.
And it's the most It's the most consistent out there. You need a line to do anything, defensive and offensive.
So there you go. For Kyle Gaffner, I'm Adrian Vedke. We'll be back on in a couple minutes to do our edge rusher rankings. So until then, we're out.
Can't wait.
See you guys in a couple minutes.